Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Stuff I Heard podcast. I am your host, Joshua Peak. Today is Wednesday, September the 26th. Today happens to be my Uncle Danny's birthday. Happy birthday, Uncle Danny. And it's also, coincidentally, or not so coincidentally, my brother and his wife's anniversary. They made a decision to get married on my uncle's birthday. Or our uncle's birthday, not my uncle. You know what I mean. Anyway. That way they share the same day. It's kind of cool. But, yeah, so today I just wanted to check in and say hello and tell you about stuff I heard, because this is the Stuff I Heard podcast. So let's get right into it. Here's some stuff I heard. Okay, so the hurricane waters are now traveling down. I know you guys are sick and tired of me talking about floodwaters, but the hurricane waters are now flooding down towards Socastee and Georgetown, and hopefully we'll be out into the water, into the ocean by Thursday, maybe. We're probably 12 days after the hurricane has hit, and the water is still receding from the land. There's a lot of roads that are out. There's a lot of construction going on. If you're traveling in this area, please look at Google Maps or Waze, W-A-Z-E. Either one of those will help you navigate around the areas that are being damaged. If you're not familiar with those apps, download them and get familiar with them. They're going to save you a lot of heartache in the process. Now, I used Google Maps during this process to get around to deliver, and as it was happening, as floodwaters were rising, they weren't updating as quickly as you would hope. But they did a pretty good job considering the fact that it's technology, as a satellite out in outer space, and they don't know when roads are closed, but people were somehow sending them updates. So thank you to the people who maintain that and operate that. And, you know, I use Google Maps at work a lot. And if it wasn't for that, I would be out here driving around going, yeah, I don't know how to get anywhere because, you know. Anywho, I've heard it said that if the terrorists really wanted to take over, all they had to do is knock out one of our satellites that tells us where to get places, because we'd be sitting around going, yeah, I don't know how to get anywhere. And that's kind of true. There's a lot of places that I depend on my phone for my map to figure out where to go. There's no way for you to fully know how to get everywhere at any given moment. And I don't have to think about it if I've got it in my phone. There's a lot of stuff that you know just from repetition, just from doing it all the time, but, you know, bigger spectrum, it's really hard to keep up with everything and everybody and everywhere and all that stuff. So, you know, there was a discussion on Rogan's podcast where he talks about, you know, our phones making us smarter or they're making us dumber. And he's like, I think it's both. He said, because in a way, because I don't have to remember everybody's phone number, I can then remember other things that can fill my mind with enjoyment or work or whatever. You know, for him doing comedy, he makes a point that with his phone, a lot of times he'll sit his phone down, he'll go into the notes program and he'll hit the voice recorder and he'll go on stage and he'll do his act. And his voice recorder writes down everything that he says. And it's pretty accurate. He said every now and then it flubs a word here or there, but it's pretty accurate about keeping track of what he says. And that way he can go back over it and look over his notes and go, okay, this is what I can do. This is a spur of the moment thing that I said that would have been great if I could have remembered it. But while I'm on stage, I'm so anxious and I got, you know, all this adrenaline going and I'm nervous and I come out and I say something and then if I were to do that without that technology, I would get off stage and I go, what just happened? What did I say? And this kind of helps him, you know. But like I said, directions is one of those things that we take for granted now because we don't have to remember them. Most people remember stuff in their own little small towns, but you get into a bigger area, somewhere that you don't go all the time, it's really hard to recall all of that stuff. Let's talk about something else. Let's switch gears here a little bit, see how to do that transition. Let's talk a little bit about my back porch. I know this is something people are like, what? Really? We're going to talk about your back porch? Yeah, we're going to talk about my back porch because I'm a homeowner, and there's a lot of homeowners out there that listen to this, and I am currently, we've lived in this house now 11 years. We built this house. We have a back porch that was built by some little dude in about 4 hours with a nail gun. He come out there and just zippity-doo-dah it and slung it together and took off. And And it's not a bad porch. It's a decent size. It's like 14 by 14 and a half. And it wouldn't be bad for what most people use their back deck for, but I have made a purchase of a pellet grill, and now I have 3 grills sitting on the back porch, and a patio table and chairs. And if I'm out there grilling and there's any people, then nobody's going to fit on the porch. And I know a lot of you are thinking, Josh, why do you have 3 grills? I'll explain. Years ago, we lived in a condo, and I wanted a decent grill, and I made a request to my stepdad about, I really wanted a decent grill, but I don't know what to buy. And, at the time, he was kind of the grill master, and he was like, I can get you a decent grill. And so as a birthday / Christmas present combo deal, he got us a really nice grill, and it was a big surface area to cook. I could cook hamburgers for the whole family and some, and it's nice. It's not a name brand that anybody would know. It's kind of a local brand. It's called Phoenix. It has a drip pan underneath it, and the surface cooking area is very large. It has indirect heat, so you never get that flash flame that's gonna burn up your product, your whatever you're cooking. And it served us really well. And we moved in here. I was still using that grill a lot, and I wanted like something smaller, and I wanted something that I could maybe smoke meat with. My wife happened to find the Charbroil 3-in-1. It's like a bullet type smoker grill combo on QVC. Her sister had bought one for her husband that she'd seen on sale on QVC, and it was like, $50 off what it normally costs, and it comes with extra little doodads, including the cover and whatnot. And so we talked to them, and they really liked it. And the next time it went on sale, my wife bought me one, and I enjoyed it. The cooking area is, I measured it, it's like 14 inches in diameter around. Like I said, it's a bullet-shaped cooker. But it has a grill top that you can grill stuff on, and then it has like when you lift that grill top off, there's an opening in a basket that you can lower meat down into and cook. It doesn't have to be meat, it can be vegetables, but anyway, I mostly cook meat in there. And I've had a lot of videos on YouTube. Go on YouTube, Joshua Peak, and you'll see it, about using this 3-in-1 and smoking like Boston butts and turkeys and chickens and all kinds of stuff inside of the smoker, in that basket. And I like the basket, but the basket is extremely hard to clean. And one of the things that's difficult about doing the meat in it is, like, I had to go out and buy like a remote probe so that I could figure out what the temperature is inside of it without having to pull it out every time to stick it. With a remote probe, it made it painless. I could just put it in there, walk away, sync it up to my phone, and just every now and then look on it and go, oh yeah, that's the temperature. And then whenever it got to where it was supposed to be, it would alert me, and I could pull it out and it was ready to go. Now, with that bullet smoker, it being gas, there's only so low that you can set it. When you set it to the lowest setting, that's it. And there's no way to regulate it lower. Now, it's not bad. I've got a lot of use out of it. We've cooked a lot of great meals off of it. I mean, a ton. The grill surface on it was made out of kind of a cheap metal, and I ended up buying a aftermarket iron grate that I put over the top, and that made everything taste better. Cooking on that iron top is the way to go. I recommend the cooking on iron across the board. If anybody has access to iron, iron heats up evenly, it cooks your meat evenly, it leaves sear lines like you want it. It is fantastic. I have used that grill the most due to the size of it, and also because of that iron grill grate. It gives it a smoky flavor. But again, it's gas, and I can't turn it down any lower than it goes, and sometimes it cooks it a little hotter than I'd like. Now, a buddy of mine, Greg, some people have heard Greg Steele on this podcast. Greg Steele has a Trigger, and he's talked to me about pellet grills for years now, and I've been intrigued, and I've looked into them, and I've eaten meals off of his grill. And his mom and Frank have a RecTech grill, which is a similar type pellet grill. RecTech, I think, is made out of Augusta, Georgia. And he's, said, hey, if you're going to go this route, look at the Rectech because it's a little cheaper and you get a little more for what you pay for. And, I did the research and I ended up going with a company called Grilla Grills, Grilla Grills. Check them out on YouTube. They have a website, they have an online presence. They show you side-by-side comparisons, cooking with different pellet grills and different grills all across the board. And to me, that was the way to go during this time because not only was it a double-walled insulation in the barrel, which none of the others have, but it also was on sale during Labor Day for like $300 off, which I was like, yay, perfect. So I've talked about that on videos on here. If you're curious to know more, check out my YouTube page. I have an unboxing video. I have a cooking video. You're gonna like it. It's fantastic. But I've gone with that, and now I'm like, okay, do I get rid of the Phoenix? Because the Phoenix has a large cooking space and it's gas, and let's say there's a hurricane and I need to use a giant grill and I got it sitting right there, I can just fire it up. Let's say, honestly, the gas grills I'm keeping nearby because of what ifs. What if we lose power? What if we don't have ability to cook on anything else? And with that statement, with the what ifs, I could say, well, why don't I just put those two grills up for now and leave the electric one out and just use the electric one and pull the gas ones out when I need it. And that probably makes more sense. To do that, I would probably need to take them off the back porch and maybe put them in the garage, but then I don't have any space in the garage. Where I live, I don't have access to extra buildings. I can't put buildings on the yard because of the housing covenants that we live in, unless they're brick and they have to look like the house and blah blah blah, and I don't want to go through all that expense and trouble. So my other option is to make my back porch bigger. Now, this all started because we've had a lot of rain over the years with hurricanes and with tropical storms and with just irregular wear and tear. And I've stained the back porch over and over again, but the force of the water that comes down has caused some of the boards to rot and start to fall apart. Now, I could just replace those boards and go on about my willy-nilly business and just tell everybody when they come over if they want to eat, then I got to move some stuff around and just move some stuff around. I could do that. I totally could. But I would like to make the porch bigger. I think I would enjoy a bigger outdoor space, especially as our family grows and we have grandkids now and, we have friends that we'd like to invite over. It would be nice to have more of a space to relax and have areas for them to enjoy. So I did not know the first step. So of course my first step is to call and ask people, hey, do you know how to do this kind of stuff? I've been asking people at work, I've been asking family members. My dad, if you follow him on YouTube, he's under RPEEK. You can find him on YouTube. And he builds all kinds of stuff. And I mentioned to Dad something about, hey, do you think I could do this myself? And he said, well, sure. He said, matter of fact, I'll come help you. Perfect. That's great. I would love that. My dad knows how to build pretty much anything. And he says, all right, first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get some permits. Get a permit, residential permit, so that you can build this. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is, if they find out that you built something and you didn't report it, then they're going to tax you every day that you don't dismantle it until you get a permit. So I would have to take apart everything that we built and then get a permit and then rebuild it if I don't just go ahead and get a permit now. So I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And he said, it's fine. Just look up your clerk of courts, give them a call, find out what you need to do, and go from there. So I did. I called the building permit office. They said I need to go to clerk of courts and get a plot of my property, which I guess is like the map of your area, where things are, where your property lines are, where your house sits, that kind of stuff. So to get that, I called that office and they said I need to bring a bill with my name on it and, come up there ready to pay for a plot, which I guess is not very much because she didn't make it out to be a big thing. And then I take that plot with some plans. Of quote unquote plans up to the planning committee, the the building planning committee, to propose for a permit, for a residential permit. Now, when she said the word plans on the phone, I got super nervous, and I thought, wait, does that mean I have to hire an engineer to draw me up plans to present so I can build a porch? Really? My first thought was to go into panic mode of, well, no, if I got to do all that, then I don't want to do it. Or if I want to do it, I want to do it and not tell nobody and just suffer the consequences later if they ever find out. And I had all these weird visions in my head of you know, well, I'll get Dad to pull up and block and have the RV block the back, and we'll build it, and then he'll pull away, and I won't say nothing, and they'll be like, "Didn't you make your porch bigger?" I'm like, "No, it's been there all the whole time." But even me saying that, I knew that wasn't probably the way to go. But you know, I'd run that by Dad, and Dad was like, "No, that's not the way you want to do it. You want to do it the right way." He said, "Honestly, they're really easy to work with. When you tell them what you want to do, they'll work with you and they'll talk you through what you need to do." And he said, actually, I've built stuff here in Georgia and in Maine, and I've become friends with both people who inspect for both things. So he's like, you know, it's not a big deal. We'll do that and we'll go forward. And I'm like, okay. So I asked him about the plans thing. And the plans, he said, honestly, you can draw that yourself. You just draw out what you want to do. And you know, if they ask for something different, then you adjust it or whatever. He said, but just draw what you want to do. And he said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you're basically just telling them what you plan on building. They want to know what you're planning on building so they know how to tax you appropriately. Which I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, screw that, man, tax me on stuff. Yeah, I know. I have those thoughts as well. But I get it. I get the fact that they want to tax you for your property, and you know, it takes tax money to make all this magical stuff happen, like road repairs and, you know, police and fire trucks and ambulances and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, whatever, we'll do that. So I came home yesterday, and while I was out working, I sort of just drew up something on a piece of paper of what I thought I wanted it to look like. And then I thought, well, that was kind of a rough sketch. So I came home and I drew up some more on another little piece of paper. This is where you want the YouTube on the podcast. I drew up something a little more detailed, and I have like a before and after look of what it's going to look like. And I'm hoping that'll be good. I took a photo of it this morning, and I sent it to my dad, and I said, "Does this look okay for plans?" And I'm waiting to hear back from him now. He up where he lives right now in Elberton, Georgia. They're on a lake, and they don't have internet per se, which means that even getting text messages and pictures on their phone sometimes is laborious. It takes a little while to get there. Apparently where he lives, they don't have the internet yet. It is a couple blocks away, but he can't convince anybody to run lines out there just yet because he's the only house in that property for quite a while. And I think he's working on talking to people about getting internet, but it's sort of one of those things they're learning to work around right now. So if I send him the picture, he could be busy with a project, he could be swimming in the lake, which is more than likely the case. Or he could be just not with his phone. His phone could be in the house and he could be out working outside, which is very possible as well. So anywho, we're going to go take those plans, hopefully, and a bill of some sort, probably electric bill with my address on it, my name, and go up and get a plot and then take these up to the building permit place and get a permit. So that's the plan on that. And if everything looks good, then hopefully within the next month or so, Dad and I will get out there and we'll start building on a porch. With his know-how and my work ethic, I think we can knock this out fairly easy. If we do, be prepared for me talking about it for a while. I'm going to have YouTube videos and all kinds of fun stuff showing you what we're doing and the progress and all that other stuff. So that'll make for a fun video. Plus you'll have video from him and video from me and video from Trish. And it's just a YouTube community, you know what I mean? this is part of that idea I had of building community and sharing information. You know, I'm still working on some other guys. I'm still working on their projects. I'm still trying to get them involved to do more. I'm still harassing Josh West to get his podcast out. If you know Josh West, how about reach out to him and say, hey, what's up with your podcast? How come you still haven't done it? You can call him a lazy bum. You can call him all kinds of stuff. He'll appreciate that. But, you know, for a lot of people, this is not what they thought it was going to be. You know, podcasting is not super simple for some people. Conversation is not simple for some people. I ride with a lot of different drivers, and as we're sitting going down the road, I try and create conversation to keep them awake, to engage them, to learn about their personality, to learn about what makes them tick so that I can help them get a little better along the way. And some folks just aren't social. Some folks just don't have that in their toolbox of skills. Now, along that way, I have to ask myself, do I need to teach them how to do that? Do I need to force them? Do I need to bring it out of them? And, of course, the answer is always yes. Because I want them to be able to talk to customers when the time comes, and to be able to just have a cordial nature of, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for spending money with us. We really appreciate it. You know, that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about Netflix, because Netflix is killing it right now. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up, and some stuff that just came out that I didn't even hear anybody talk about. I just got done watching a series on Netflix called Maniac, and some of you may have seen it on your prompt. It may have come up when you turn on Netflix as like a, hey, watch this. It's Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. Is that right? Is it Jonah Hill and Emma Stone? Let's ask Google, because I don't want to get this wrong. Cast of Netflix Maniac. Emma Stone, Jonah Hill, Justin Theroux, Sonia Mizuno, and Sally Hill is also in there. It is really, really good. It is really weird. If you watch the preview that shows whenever Netflix comes on, it'll show you kind of what it's about. And it is right away right up my alley, because it shows them interacting in like alternate universes. And there's times where Jonah Hill looks like a giant, and there's times where Emma Stone looks like a giant, and there's times where she's dressed up like an elf. And right away from the previews, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. I'm in. Just, yeah. And I watched it, and it was weird. I will, even for my standards, which I like weird stuff, it was weird. Jonah Hill was an executive producer. I saw that in the credits. He should be. He kind of put it all out on the line there to play this character. But it is head trippy. There is a weird reality that they start off in where they're sort of in the past, because like computers are old, like the early 80s old, but they have advanced technology, like robots that clean up dog poop on the ground and roam around the city and just clean up dog poop. Or they have services that are like if you don't have a friend, you can pay someone to be your friend for the day. You know, they'll assume whatever role you have. There's a thing that has an ad for widows who need husbands, and it's got like a family with like a mom and two kids in the brochure, and it's got like an outline of a dude behind them, and it says, you know, feeling like you could be the missing part in their happiness. Apply now to be a step-in dad. It's like, what? That's so weird. It's so weird. There's a lot of weirdness, but there's a lot of reflection to how life could be. That's one of the things I like about Netflix's series, The Black Mirror. The Black Mirror is basically, Black Mirror means it's your screen whenever there's nothing on it, and you look back at yourself. It's your reflection. When you look at your phone, and it's dark, and you see that reflection. See that reflection? That's the Black Mirror. And a lot of times it's you looking at it. And it basically is a show where it shows a lot of crazy chaos things that could be just right around the corner if life goes that way. And it's weird scenarios. It's a lot like Twilight Zone. It is head trippy as well. and every episode is different. But, you know, I like that kind of thinking. I like that kind of out-of-the-box thinking. And I like the fact that they can create it on screen and make it seem like it's real. Maniac does that. Maniac kind of has this role where you buy into their character and their world and you're into it. And it's like, wow, okay, cool deal. I like it. I'm into it. I want it to be a thing. So I enjoyed watching it. I watched all 10 episodes in like 2 days, 3 days. It was good. They're not an hour long. They're somewhere between 26 and 46 minutes. They're different times, but it's good. It's really good. Emma Stone kills it on screen. There's a girl in it that I think she plays on the Ozarks. Let me hit more cast. Let's see if it's got it on here. Full cast and crew. I know right now people are listening going, dude, seriously? You're going to look up this stuff now? Yeah, I am. Sorry. There is a blonde girl on the show. Julia Garner plays her sister on Maniac. And yep, she's also on the Ozarks. If anybody watches the Ozarks on Netflix, that is probably my favorite show right now. There's 2 seasons out. It's really, really, really good. Really good. Julia Garner was also in The Americans. The Americans was one of my favorite shows on television. FX had it. I think now you can probably watch it on all kinds of different platforms. But if you've never seen The Americans, go back and watch that. I highly recommend binge watching that. That's some of the best television ever made. It is fantastic. Okay, Julia Garner. Let's see. It says that she is best known for her roles in Electric Children, Electric with a K, We Are What We Are, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Sin City, and Grandma. I don't know any of those. I know her from The Americans, from the Ozarks, and from this, Maniac. And what's crazy is like she has sort of an accent. She has a real thick Southern accent in Ozarks. And in this she has different accents. They all do. They all take on different accents depending upon what simulated world they're in or whatever society they're in. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, check it out. It's Maniac. It's weird, but it's cool. But also coming up, we got Joe Rogan has a Netflix special. Not that Joe Rogan needs any more plugging because, let's face it, he is a superstar. He has his own platform with his own thing. But his special is coming out on Netflix. Let me see if I can look up the date. I'm on his Facebook right now, or on his Twitter. He puts out so much stuff, and I don't know that all of it is his. I think that he has help posting stuff. But my new Netflix special coming out October 2nd. I hate trailers, but this is mine. Oh, this is funny. Check out his Twitter for links, or check out his Instagram. Just look up Joe Rogan and you'll find it. October 2nd on Netflix. It's so cool. So cool. I'm looking forward to that. I saw Joe Rogan do his Stranger Times stand-up in Atlanta a year ago, August, and it was fantastic. So, I highly recommend it. I can't go on and on about it enough. But this is going to be it for now. I'm going to wrap this up. I can feel my coffee is running out of me, and my nose is about to run, and I got to blow my nose. And no one wants to hear me blow my nose on the podcast, but I'm going to have to because it's if I don't, the people watching the video are going to be like, oh, gross. There you go. There's a podcast first. I'm blowing my nose because I am dying. I woke up the other day and my throat was sore, and I don't know why. Like, I haven't had sinus problems at all. I woke up, my throat was sore, and then my nose started running the next day. Who does that? Who gets sick in their throat and then has a problem with their nose? I thought my throat was sore because I sang at church this past Sunday. I wrapped this up in the middle of talking, and I don't know what happened, but I wanted to wrap this up with you guys because you're watching the YouTube part, and you know, you got to make it special just a little bit. I'm done recording. This is just a prop now. Secret time. Hey, thank you for watching YouTube. I appreciate it. Dad, thank you for your help with the project. I'm going to talk to you on the phone and see if there's anything else I need to take with me up there to get my permit. Bye. Also, don't tell the podcast people, but you're my favorite.